Today we talk about motorhome and campervan rentals in New Zealand. How does the overall rental process work? What do you need to watch out for? Over the years I've booked hundreds of vehicles for travelers, so you're going to get lots of helpful travel tips and insider knowledge. So in this video we'll cover number 1, rental operators and vehicle options. Number 2, locations, costs and policies. Number 3, practical travel tips while you're on the road. So there's lots to cover. Let's get started. Do you know the difference between a campervan and a motorhome? A campervan is smaller with space for 2 to 3 people. Generally, they don't have a shower and toilet. Some, like the 𝗧𝗿𝗃 𝗧𝗿𝗃 have one, but those facilities are much smaller. Campervans mostly have a small kitchenette, but there's far less room for standing, moving around and storage. A plus with campervans is that it's easier to get around in cities and with tighter spaces when you park. A motorhome is larger with spaces up to 6 people and with toilet and shower facilities and a well-equipped kitchen. Vehicles with toilet, shower and wastewater catchment are classified as self-contained, and being self-contained is an important distinction as those vehicles allow you to do freedom camping at designated parking spots. Some motorhomes are quite luxurious with dining table areas and more space, though they are harder to drive in urban areas and require more space for parking. Some of them are up to 7 meters long. So if you've never driven a larger motorhome before, you need a day or two to adjust. Therefore, you never want to start driving a motorhome immediately after a long-haul flight. In summary, campervans are great for more adventurous trips, often for young couples and for longer periods of time. Motorhomes offer more comfort with amenities for an extended travel period. They are also a wonderful choice for families and more mature lifestyle travelers. Right, this gives you a first overview on vehicle types, which is an important part of your overall decision-making process. Now there are a number of rental operators throughout New Zealand with a wide range of standards, styles and costs. So here's an overview of some well-known rental operators in New Zealand. The largest one is THL Rentals. They have a number of different brands in their fleet, which is generally a reflection on how long the vehicle has been in use. Some of their vehicles are brand new, others are 10+ years old. Generally, their vehicles start their life cycle in the 𝗬𝗏 brand. Then after 2 to 3 years they're moving into the 𝗏𝗏𝗃 brand. Then after another 2 to 3 years into the 𝗦𝗧𝗂𝗿 brand. The same principle applies to Apollo Rentals. They move them into the cheaper camper brand and then to the hippie camper brand. Basically, the older the vehicle, the lower the price. You'll hear more about the cost options very soon. Now there are also smaller independent campervan and motorhome operators such as Wilderness, Wendekruis and 𝗀𝗄𝗃 Rentals. Wilderness has a great reputation for quality vehicles and service. Wendekruis and 𝗀𝗄𝗃 are more located in the more affordable rental market section. Now let's compare a range of rental options with the DriveNow website. It's really well done as you get a great overview on about 10 to 15 options. Prices are the same as you would book directly with the operators. I'll put a link into the description box below for you to check it out. So we have listed here 𝗬𝗏𝗏, 𝗏𝗏𝗃, Apollo, 𝗦𝗧𝗃 and other smaller rental operators. The list will depend on location selected and the availability for your travel dates. As you can see, some of the options are newer vehicles while others are much older. All have unlimited kilometers and bedding included in the rental. Watch out for the different cancellation policies. There's also an option to go deeper into the specific rental details to check them out, from the layout, from pictures and the features. Yes, there are lots of details to go through, but it's so important to have all the details in front of you. Renting a campervan or a motorhome is so different from renting a rental car. So what is the best rental option for you? If you are on a holiday vacation in New Zealand for 3 to 4 weeks or traveling with a family, I would recommend that you hire a more spacious motorhome. If you are on a tighter budget, go for a larger model campervan like the 𝗀𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. Overall, I would recommend paying a little more for quality and renting a newer vehicle like 2 to 3 years old. Now, locations, costs and policies. Rental locations in New Zealand are such an important topic. Most campervan and motorhome rentals are available in major cities like Auckland, Christchurch and Queenstown. Some smaller companies may have depots available in smaller provincial locations. Again, use the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃 website to get the full picture. One-way rentals are pretty common, but many operators will charge an additional fee on those. Also, during the peak summer season, so November to March, a minimum rental period of 10 or even 14 days is quite common. Because of those very limited depot locations, many campervan and motorhome travelers will either travel from Auckland to Christchurch or Queenstown or vice versa. There is an additional cost for crossing between the North Island and the South Island. We'll dive into those add-on costs in a bit later on. Also, an important part of your New Zealand planning trip with a campervan or motorhome is that you'll need to structure your itinerary differently than traveling with a rental car. Therefore, I made another video especially on this topic. Check it out up here or in the playlist in the box below. If you find this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button below to stay in touch for more helpful videos to come. Now, vehicle costs will depend on the travel season, the size and age of the vehicle, as well as on the travel length. Apart from the ultra-low cost people mover vans and station wagons young backpacker travelers use, you realistically need to calculate on these costs. Mid-range campervans between 200 and 300 New Zealand dollars, depending on seasons. Luxury motorhomes between 350 and 600 New Zealand dollars, again depending on the season. The best way to find out is to use the Drive Now link in the description box below for your specific travel dates, locations and size of the vehicle. At the same time, you can also check the vehicle availability, which is super important. I recommend to book early to get the best rental options at the best prices. Rental fleets in New Zealand are limited, especially during the peak summer seasons or between November and February. Prices can skyrocket. Now let's go through those additional charges as I talked about earlier. Camping equipment, this can be rented at additional costs. This is the same for baby and booster seats. Note, these seats must be pre-booked because there's limited availability on those. Gas refill. Your fridge will be running on gas as well as the hot water. So if you use gas, you will be charged. Also, if you choose not to remove the vehicle's wastewater prior to drop-off, there's an additional fee for that. Also, there's an additional driver fee. Some operators include this, while others don't. One-way fees, these vary between each operators. Queenstown remote location charge. This one is often overlooked too. Credit card fees, those 2 to 5% can add up big time with long-term rentals. For payments, I recommend to use a 𝗦𝗧𝗂𝗋𝗋 account. 𝗦𝗧𝗂𝗋𝗋 offers you different currencies and a bank transfer options with better exchange rates and less fees. Details are linked in the description box below. You also need to keep in mind the ferry tickets between the North and South Island. Here's a sample. During the summer season, for a motorhome with 6.5 meters length and with 2 passengers, you can expect to pay between $400 and $500 one way. Driving license. If your license is not written in English language, an international driving permit is required. Otherwise, there are officially approved translation services in New Zealand at extra charge, which are accepted by the rental operators. I've got a link also in the description box below. Minimum age. Most companies require drivers to be at least 21 years old, while some will allow rentals for 18-plus-year-olds with higher insurance fees. Insurance. When renting a campervan or motorhome in New Zealand, you'll typically typically have several insurance excess options. The excess is the amount you must pay in the event of damage before the insurance covers the rest. Again, you are best to go through the Drive Now site, select the operator and vehicle you are after, and check those individual policies. It's well outlined and so helpful, especially when you're dealing with so many different rental operators and policies. My advice is to read through the rental agreement very carefully to make sure you understand all the charges, policies and responsibilities. Wow, we have covered a lot, but this is also important when renting a motorhome or campervan in New Zealand. We still want to go quickly through other key questions I often get asked from international travelers. What side of the road do we drive here in New Zealand? It's on the left-hand side. Do I need an international license? Yes, as mentioned before, without a valid driving license, you will not get the vehicle from the rental operator. Do I need a physical credit card when picking up the vehicle? Yes. What are the driving challenges in New Zealand? Especially watching out when overtaking with a larger vehicle on windy roads. Are there any restrictions on where I can drive a campervan or motorhome? Yes, you need to stay on sealed roads. There are specific roads mentioned in your rental agreement you are not allowed to drive on. They are mostly very dangerous anyway, so there's only a few of them. Where can I park and sleep overnight? Most travelers use motor parks or camping grounds with access to facilities such as toilet, kitchen and a playroom for the children. Dog campsites and freedom camping sites are available too, wherever it's signed to be allowed. A great option also is to use the 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗃𝗃 app, where you can stay with locals on a small part of their property. I'll put the link in the description box below. How easy is it to find campsites in the peak season? Do I need to pre-book campsites? Over Christmas and New Year's you must book ahead. Also, February is very busy, so plan ahead, especially for the more remote places like the west coast of the South Island. How do I manage water, waste, electricity while traveling? The rental operators will provide you with the details on pump stations around New Zealand. When you book a powered site at motor parks, you have also access to electricity. Otherwise, there's limited power for lights in the vehicle that run on battery. Now here's another classic. When is the best time to travel with a campervan to New Zealand? I recommend you plan between October and May. The winter camping in New Zealand can be quite cold, especially in the South Island. Again, for any additional questions, please feel free to put them into the comments fields below and I will answer them for you. So now you have a comprehensive overview on motorhome and campervan rentals in New Zealand. But the real fun part now is to start planning your travel itinerary and allocate time for each place to visit. Therefore, you must check out my sample itinerary planning video up here. Thanks very much for watching. See you in the next video.